Thank you for joining me for part two. Hope you enjoy. All right, and that is what gets me to this next part. Let's talk about how, in order to accept our gifts, who we are, what we have to be very much accepting within ourselves out loud. And other people are not going to agree. Other people are not going to understand a lot of times. And they might feel that what you're saying is BS, it's just some woo-woo BS. And if you are still kind of in this place and mindset where that is very important to you, how other people feel, how other people think of what you're doing, this journey won't work yet because it's knocking down everything. And it's not just physically, it's mentally, spiritually, emotionally. Like I said, mentally, like your beliefs are being knocked down. You're being shown a completely whole different world, essentially. And if anything, it's not a whole different world. It's shaping out your world. It's adding light to those dark pieces you didn't understand that were there and why they're there. And now you're starting to see it. And now we're starting to have clarity and be okay with it. And I say this because it is a privilege for me to be able to make videos, to be pulling cards, have clients, to be living out loud as a psychic medium where these things were, you know, you were murdered for. You were said to be evil. There are people that think I'm evil and think my ancestors are evil because I work with my ancestors. What I'm trying to understand is how are people that were related to me, how they're all demons, right? Or they think I'm weird, dumb, or just like delusional or something for believing in this and that. And my ring fell. And I had to be okay with the fact that not everybody don't understand this cup of tea. And is it for them to understand? No. And sometimes those same people that have those things to feel, they're in your inbox because they've been feeling it the same way too. You just been the one to be open about it. You just been the one to stand in it and show that it's okay and that you're honestly happier accepting all of you. And that was me. When I was able to come out and like start sharing the fact that I would like to start sharing my services and being more open just with my journey, who I am and the gifts I have, and even with people's skepticism, even with their two sort of DMs, they think that they're just like asking a question, but they really mean it a different way. Or trying to, I guess, challenge you and prove that what you're saying is not real, or feel like they're tripping up because they feel this way and they think you should too. With me being solidified in that, not anything anybody have to say really stop my game. It stopped me from knowing what I know, right? And that confidence is so important when you're on your spiritual journey because it's not for everybody. And a lot of times the people are starting a spiritual journey or they're kind of like, oh, let's do it together. It's not a together thing because what's for me could not be for you. How I'm told to handle this, you could be told a completely different way. And you have to be okay with the fact that there are going to be points on this journey where it's just going to be you, your spirits, and the world. It's just going to be you. And that is something I had to face. I thought at first it could be something like, oh, this could be like a friend group thing. But it's like not everybody is at that point. Or not everybody should be at that point. That's not their purpose or journey. And that was something else I had to realize. Even though this was something I was excited about, something that worked for me, it may not essentially work for everybody. Or it may not be something that they're ready for just yet. Their ancestors could have a plan for them that I am standing in the way of. And that was something else I had to sit with and face. Like, this is all really me. But what I noticed is me doing me fully being in this. That's what opened up my doors. That's what remove those blockages. That's what got me on a path to get to the next level I've been trying to get at. That's what got me to a stable job at that point, to working in the title I wanted, to getting the salary I wanted. Everything I prayed for, everything that I was being shooed away from by recruiters, I got. Even when it led to other things happening. My bad, y'all. An alarm went off. So sorry. What was I saying? Even when it led to things happening, like me being invited to do in-person meetings, working with people that work within Blavity, um, having a client list, getting told word of mouth, like this girl's the shit, she knows her shit, and seeing how people were not looking to me, looked up to me in a way because I embodied this, and I think I don't think I'm a Leo. Okay, you're gonna only see me in my best light a lot of times. I showed a lot of the beautiful and amazing parts when there's so much back end work that has to get done. And I shared it oftentimes with, family, friends that want to listen, that were curious, or if I have a client. But it was something I not realized, like, this story is so amazing. Going from this point of being unemployed, of trying to work through a pandemic, still getting unemployment, of trying to get on your feet, of being offered a full-time job and not being able to take it because of a freeze and a pandemic happening at first lockdown. And being able to go back to that job and work and create amazing things at that company and really get solidified, like, I'm the shit, I know what I'm doing. It just took time to get to this because what's for me is for me. And I have a way of showing those beautiful parts of, you see me one day like, oh my God, I'm so down and out. Next day, job. Next day, new place. Whenever you think about the time frames in between that, baby, that took time. That took me having to go through other layers of healing that I did not realize that were there until I wanted to get to this next thing. And building that bridge and working with my ancestors is the main way I got there. My mental health has improved tremendously, and that was before I got into therapy. My ability of understanding my body, because I was not connected to my body at all. Like I said, you shouldn't be crashing. Your body gives you tell signs. It gives you warnings, and I was not connected to receiving those warnings. To stopping, to understand that there's power in rest. Our ancestors feel so much revitalizing energy when we're resting because they weren't allowed to rest. They weren't allowed to just dream. They weren't allowed to just be. And that's something we carry through our generations. And that's one of the many generational traumas that I have. Resting, being okay with not doing or working on something. Like, shit, I'm just chilling. And that's okay. I don't have to always be working on something to be of value. Shit, I am value. And that took a lot of rewiring and time because it's rewiring of changing your perspective, of it's rewiring of understanding that this way you've always saw something your whole life could possibly be not the way for you. And that is a mind fuck. And that is what my ancestors being there helped me understand and guided me through. Now, let's get into the fun stuff. Well, guiding me through, and one of the main ways this helped guide me through is them telling me their stories and giving me insight on them and their tea essentially, and tea on even other family members because they're also realizing that they're psychic, that certain things. You just don't want to answer the calling. And so I remember it was back in 2020. I think I took a nap and I was on a boat. Don't know why. It reminded me of like the Flying Dutchman's boat. Not as creepy, but you know, a little bit of cobwebs here and there. But like the Flying Dutchman's boat. Like I just felt like I was somewhere else. Besides in a boat, like in a whole other realm or something. And my grandma was there. And, you know, I'm like speaking to her, and she was like, you know, I used to be able to see, hear, and speak to ghosts until I prayed it away and feel them. Until I prayed it away to God, like I prayed it away. And I remember this was when I was trying to understand and question, am I a medium? And it's like, do I have gifts? And so I just remember getting that insight, and I decided to reach out to a reader, a medium. And I asked her, I didn't even like tell her this info. I emailed the question like after paying and everything. It was like an email question type of thing back then. And I said, you know, is what my grandma told me, my dream true? That could be about anything. And she's like, yes. And you know, if she's passed or she's alive, but there's work for you. And that's what's gonna help you, like, you know, understand your gifts and what's been passed down. Now you know it's about gifts. You know, it was kept being so like this shit is real, like this don't know me. I didn't give her no extra info and you just hit the nail on the head. That's not. And that's what made me realize, like, oh, this is due to family. You know, how did some of my families migrate from Texas, um, and not North Carolina, and other parts like Louisiana, other parts of the states get to California through Jim Crow. Magic, baby. Okay, it just had me realize how they probably didn't call it that, but they were utilizing their gifts because it's for survival. I want to shout them out. They show me their stories, show me their insight of how they had to utilize their psychic abilities, their mediumship abilities, their root working abilities for survival to get the things that they were deserving because people were standing in their way literally to protect themselves, to enhance what they have going on. Survival. And them giving me a glimpse of that and showing me the importance of stepping into my gifts and accepting my gifts. It's on a whole different level because that's what they wanted for their descendants. They want us to be able to feel free, to be who we are. And living in this truth and sharing this is a continuous offering that I'm giving to them, which is why I made this channel, which is why I like doing readings. I like getting insight on zodiacs and the collective things of what's to happen, especially doing it in a way that adds value to for everybody. Essentially, like if you're looking at getting a house, or if you're just like I'm just trying to understand what's happening, right? And my reading comes up, and you're like, oh, okay. Then you're seeing articles that match to that. It makes you like, let me like look more into what she's saying because there could be other information she's giving that they're not giving. And just getting that insight. And I've also realized my gifts help me have a level of understanding with people that they don't think that they often get only from themselves. Um, and being so confident in my gifts and walking in that, even when I have clients that are like, you know, I don't know about this. I was just curious. My friend said this, you know, and we're sitting together. I'm building rapport with them. We're kikiing, and then we're talking about some of the stuff, and then how I approach it, how I'm able to build that emotional and spiritual trust. Essentially, is a gift within itself, and it's something my ancestors are like. It's important for you to share, and I used to not think there was value into what I had to share. And as I said in my first video, I was okay with being hidden. I was okay with not having a spotlight on me, even though the spotlight was always finding its way to me. I was okay with, just being background. I was okay with not standing out and stepping into these gifts, doing this work, sharing this work was exactly going the opposite of that. And it was something that my friend Shantae, who's an astrologer, she was like, "Why are you okay with that? You should ask yourself that. Why are you okay with minimizing yourself? When you're meant to be big, you're meant to stand out, you're meant to be bright. Why are you okay with that? You're meant to stand out, you're meant to be seen." And I had to sit there like, why am I okay with that? I used to think like, I'm just not that person. I'm more of a humble person. No, I just didn't think I should. And why is that? Right? Where does that stem from? Whose voice is that? And so my ancestral altar helped me see that. Because one thing they want to do is put the mirror to me. I may not like to hear it, want to hear it, they're gonna say it regardless. And that was something else I had to face. I had to be willing to face the truth of all sides of the situation. Because two things can be true. I could be struggling finding a job and dealing with some racist and bullshit, but I could be stepping into these situations with not the best mindset, already counting myself out, and not even pulling in hopeful, optimistic energy as I should. Two things can be true at once, right? And I had to face that. And that's, that is ego death. That is facing your ego. That is understanding that you don't know every damn thing. And something that's not meant for you in that moment, or that thing that's just not meant for you, even though you wanted it, even though it was so cute, it was so great, it was so fab, just not was not for you. Basically me. And so also working on my altar made me realize I didn't have to be strong. As I mentioned in part one, being strong is something I hate to be told. I hate to hear. Well, you're strong. You're so strong. Am I? Because am I not supposed to feel anything because I'm so strong? That's, excuse me, it's okay for them to feel things, right? And I had to realize it also stemmed from me not showcasing that side when it came to the friends, essentially, right? They always thought me so strong. That's because that's just what I showed. I wasn't being as vulnerable. I wasn't sharing the fears, the side that had me really in a chokehold. I was not being honest in that case. And once I started to, it's shaping their perspective of me and it's shaping their perspective of themselves because we don't realize how hard we are on ourselves, how we don't give ourselves grace, how something we have been normalizing is not really good. And sometimes it takes an outside person to like hit that glass for you to be like, oh shit, I don't have to do that. I don't have to be in this stance. I don't have to believe in that. And the ancestor altar definitely helped me understand that, helped me realize that. Because you have to have confidence within yourself. You have to believe in yourself wholeheartedly and understand that this is your truth. Because other people are trying to tell you what is your truth. And when you're so, whatever they say, it's not even hitting the ears. Like, I remember when I pulled a card for a day, and my ancestors, and I was at the altar, my ancestors were like, people are going to try to sway your beliefs and views. You just start standing in it. And I was like, okay. Because at the time it was still kind of like lockdown, so I wasn't really around people like that. And I went to go wash at the laundromat, and one of my neighbors from my building was there. This older woman. And when I tell y'all, it was so weird how random this was and how this jarring it was what she did. Let's get into it. So she walks up and she was like, "You believe in God?" And I was like, "Yeah, like yeah, yeah." She's like, oh, "Okay, are you baptized?" And I was like, oh no, and then basically, essentially, I was like, oh no, she said, oh, you need to be, because do you want to go to hell? You don't want to go to hell, right? Because that's what that's going to be. Um, Let me call my pastor. We're going to get you baptized today. I was just like, what? And at first I was like, oh no, it's okay. Like, my beliefs is that. She was like, oh, but you need to be baptized because you don't want to go to hell. And then I was like, no. I mean, it was like, no. And she was just like, what? I was like, I don't believe in that. I don't believe in all that. Essentially, I don't want to get baptized at your church today. No, that is not where all my full beliefs are. Right? That's not my story. That's not my testimony. And what you have. And I think I just told her no about the God thing just to get her out of my face, because essentially that's not fully my belief. But I was just like flabbergasted. Literally just pulled this card. I'm like, I wonder how that can happen. And when you ask that, they gonna show you how it can happen in the most ridiculous and unserious way. Because why are you rolling up on me at the laundromat, trying to get me to hop in your car or something to go get baptized with you, to make me get baptized? I don't know you, don't know your pastor, don't know your church, don't know what y'all about. And you don't know me. Like, I could be a psycho. I could have like harmed you or something. Stay out of people's business. And then the fear tactic. I had released so much fear at this point of being seen in this way, that way, because who gonna check me? Who gonna beat my ass? And when you really realize that, like, who's really gonna beat my ass for having my own beliefs, for doing this, for doing that? Anyways. Woo. So just when I did that, I was just like, okay, okay. And me stepping fully into this, it had people around me, certain people around me that did not want this for me, because I was building boundaries, I was healing, and I was starting to see who did not need to be around me, soaking up my energy. And there was reasons why I was having blockages, right? And I had to realize, like, your enemy could be in sleeping in bed with you. It could be your closest friends, relationships, cutting relationships and healing from ending those relationships, and focusing on just me, on what I needed for that healing. I needed mirror work, affirmations. I needed to be at the altar. I needed to draw. I needed to dance. I needed to move. I needed to do yoga. I needed to choose activities to do that would bring me joy. And I needed to be, just be. And I needed to recognize that my feelings were hurt. And I was sad, mad, depressed. And putting that together, realizing that as you're clearing that out, because they will clear it out for you, and you start to walk in a sense of peace, right? Even though there's still life things happening, there's a sense of peace that I have that's always here, that is my telemarker if there's something off around me that needs to go. Or if I'm not getting opportunities, or continuously being on a path where things are not moving, but there's just a flow of this abundant energy that continues to come, even in my moments of pause. There's something off around that gotta go. And it's hard to sit with that, but once you realize that's hard, but once I heal, I'm bouncing back better than ever. Sky's the limit. Once people that didn't need to be around me anymore were out as I was doing this healing, that's when my new job came in. That's when my new place came in. That's when, even though I had to leave that job, I was able to jump into a new great opportunity and continue on the path of upward, being invited to events to work with Lavity, being getting book readings from people that I didn't think I would be getting book readings from, getting clients from the UK, I'm gonna say New Orleans, New Zealand, all these different places, because of just the work I continue to put in. And even though I may not see this exponential growth that's just happening overnight, essentially, I'm seeing the buildup. And when you've been at ground zero before, you don't have a problem building again, because you know with that great foundation from my dad, from my ancestors. It's no way but up for me, continuously moving up. As long as I recognize that healing is a continuous process around, that there are going to be things that are going to knock me off, but I have the tools to get back on my feet. I have the tools to work with. And it can come from my altar. It can come from my ancestors. Because you don't essentially need an altar. You can go to a tree, holler at that tree, the ancestors, assemble, and get the things that you need, whatever works for you. But standing in your power, standing in the fact that this is who I am, essentially, was the only way. It was going to be the only way for me to get where I am today. And so I'm so happy to finish this part of the levels, the healing aspects, right? And the things that it's taking me to get there. I can't wait just to dive in deeper on now stepping into my mediumship abilities. And the third part is just going to be some fun stuff. I'm going to tell stories. I'm going to give insight on what it's been like to give readings to my own family members, friends, and how that's shaped me to understanding the importance of sharing my voice and gift and why I'm here like this today. So thank you again, y'all. I cannot wait to see you in part 4, the last part of the series. Hold me to that. And I'll catch you next time. Bye.